Hello and welcome to another episode of Career Chat. I am Shannon Crooks, the Librarian 3 with the Prince George's County Memorial Library System, and I am working at the Hillcrest Heights branch. Each and every week on Wednesdays at 3 p.m., we explore a career or we talk to an organization about what you can do to support your career journey. Today, we are going to talk to a professional career resource, and we hope you enjoy and possibly take advantage of this great opportunity through the services that they provide. With that being said, let me introduce you to today's guests. With us today, we have Clay and Christine Gregory. They are owners of the Mettle-Works Behavioral Health organization, and they're going to tell us about what they have to offer people who may be faced with mental health issues and trying to maintain employment. So welcome, Clay and Christine.
Thank you so much for having us.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Yes, so glad you're here. The first question is, tell us about your organization and how long it's been in existence.
All right. So, actually, I guess we should start with the fact that Christine was in private practice in 2016, and we met shortly after that. We began thinking of ways in which we could serve the community together. My background was in community development type things, looking at ways to try to support the community, and so. We thought that we could create synergy by bringing our both of our talents together. And so that was kind of the birth of MettleWorks Behavior Health. And our focus is young adults and working age individuals as well as children,
Mhm.
and supporting them in being able to live their highest best life. And we believe that their ability to do that is through working, volunteering, going to school, and other activities that are in the community.
Okay, awesome. So how long has your organization been around for?
So I was in private practice in 2016, and
Mhm.
we established Mettle-Works in 2018.
Oh, okay,
Mhm.
awesome. So when people come and try to use your services, do they have to have insurance to be able to access the services?
Yes, ma'am. And so we take Medicaid insurance, so Maryland Medicaid. We also provide some services in DC, but also that's through DC Medicaid as well. So they do have to have Maryland Medicaid or DC Medicaid.
Yeah,
Okay.
and to be honest, I mean we service and support anyone who comes to our door. So, we are an organization that looks at ourselves as solution based. So sometimes we'll have someone come and they don't necessarily qualify for all of our services, but we'll point them in the direction of somebody who can.
Mhm.
But how behavior health works is it is something that's driven by insurance and the healthcare infrastructure. So, with that being said, we are partnered with the state and the local behavioral health authorities, and we are funded by Maryland Medicaid. So,
Okay. But if someone has another type of insurance outside of Maryland Medicaid, could they still get services too? And you bill their insurance provider?
So we're working on expanding our insurance catalog. We're in the process of becoming an outpatient mental health clinic. Our application is in its final stages now, so we will be accepting like Blue Cross Blue Shield and Aetna and all those other insurances as well as Medicare. So that is in the works.
Okay, awesome. Awesome. So what are some of the services you provide to the community?
So, so we provide something called Community Integration Services. Some people might know it as PRP, Psychiatric Rehabilitation Services, but we like the term community integration because, like Clay was saying, our goal is to make people be function at their highest level, at home and in the community, at work, wherever they are. So, community integration, where we basically help people with life skills, social skills, nutrition. Um, Physical fitness, employment. We also provide, excuse me, supported employment services. So that's really a service that's geared towards helping everyone who wants to work get back to work, get to work. We believe that anyone can work, no matter where you are or where you believe you are, even if you haven't worked in years. We believe you can work. So we work with people wherever they are. If they don't have a resume or if they haven't worked in years, we support them in getting to where they want to be, whatever their career goals are. So community integration, support and employment. We also do medication management. So we have a psychiatrist on staff as well.
Mhm.
And he prescribes medications. He assesses first to see if medication is necessary because not everyone obviously needs medication. So we do have that, as well as traditional outpatient mental health therapy. So if you just need therapy once a week or even once a month, we provide that. So we have a spectrum of services from low intensity to a higher intensity, just depending on what's needed. We do a couple other things too. We do work-based learning. We do a lot work-based learning experiences for transitional age youth. So for people who are 14 to 22 years old, we provide them with working experiences. Again, there is a small assessment that's done to see what they're interested in. When you're 14, obviously you're 14, so you might not know what you want to do. You may have seen something cool on TV, or you might have an aunt that does something that you might be interested in. And so we specialize or customize a plan for them to get experience in whatever working field they think they want to work in, and they're able to have multiple experiences. So
Mm. So with that program, you already have relationships established with employers in the community to connect them with?
absolutely.
Yeah.
Our supported employment program was actually recognized in 2019. We were provider of the year for the state of Maryland.
Wow.
And that was built on relationships. We were able to get a good number of people jobs within that year, and that has transitioned to our work-based learning programs, those same relationships. We were able to connect our young people to employment opportunities as well. So yeah, it's about relationships for sure.
That's awesome. So what are some of the types of employment opportunities that you've connected youth with? Like what places?
That a great question. And I guess it really boils down to what the student is interested in. So we're on, we there's a process in which we go through to assess and discuss what their interests are, and based on that interest, we look for a specific partner that can provide that. So if we have a youth who comes in and is interested in, let's say, becoming a chef one day.
Mhm.
So with that, we would look at and work with that youth to find opportunities that give them some exposure in that. We had one student who came in and her interest was uh, science based. It was space and science based, and we were fortunate enough to get her placed at NASA
Wow.
as as an intern. So it really just kind of boils down to the person. I do want to kind of share that that program is aligned with the school system. So uh, right now, until students return back to school on a regular basis, that
Mhm.
program is on pause.
Mm.
But really, I think that kind of gives kind of insight into how we approach behavioral health as a whole, not just with this one program, but with all of our programs.
Mhm.
With anyone who has any type of mental health disorder or has gone through and experienced some level of trauma that revisits and hinders them from living their highest and best self. Our approach is to assess them, find out exactly what their specific needs are, and
Mhm.
then align them with the right type of services and supports that they need to be able to recover or overcome or learn skills that strengthen them.
Mhm. I
Really,
like,
I was
go
gonna
ahead.
say, to add to what Clay was saying with the people who we do work with, NASA is one place. We've placed people in offices with lawyers,
Mm.
accountants. Prince George's County Parks and Rec is a great one because they do so many things. We have a couple of kids who wanted to be veterinarians. So there's a park that has a farm, I believe.
Mhm.
I think it's Watkins. I'm not going to say the name because I don't know if that's the right, but we were able to get them placed on a farm where they were able to take care of animals. So it's really customizable um, to what it is that they want to do, what they see themselves doing. And it's an amazing program. We're looking forward to it coming back.
Mm, I like that you take a holistic approach to mental health. You look at fitness, you look at health, you look at, mental health, medication management. A lot of organizations do not do that. Sometimes they just have a focus on medication management or just a focus on therapy. But I like that you focus on many different aspects of a person's life, because that's truly how someone can sustain and maintain a healthy lifestyle, is if they approach it from a holistic approach. So I do like that. That's
Absolutely.
awesome.
You're
Thank
absolutely
you.
right. And we also do clinical coordination meetings. So every week we are in session with a therapist, with a community integration worker, with the employment specialist, coordinating about our people and seeing what it is that we can do to get them to where they want to go. So you're right. It is a holistic approach. And I think that is what makes a big difference.
Yeah.
Mm. And so when you connect people with employers, or in your program for young people, do you explain to the employers that this person suffers from mental illness? These are some ways you can support them to be successful. How do you manage that?
First and foremost, I mean, we are a HIPAA compliant organization. So, really, it really is empower, or it really is the decision of the client themselves, how much they want us to be involved in the process of, communicating and advocating for the client. I mean,
Oh,
in that office or work setting. We
mhm,
have some clients who basically just say, help us, help me with my resume, help me look for a job, and then I can do everything by myself, and that works. We have some
mhm,
clients where they'll ask us to sit in on the interview and to work with the sometimes they'll ask us to work with the employer so
mhm,
that we can be on site and support them for an hour while they're at work, doing their job. So it just really kind of varies based on what the client asks for and what they basically say that they would prefer. So that is that's
So, like Clay is saying, we basically let them take the lead and they let us know
okay.
where we could fill in. We complete an employment plan with them up front. We do a career assessment, then an employment plan.
Okay.
And then some people come to us working, but they want better employment as well. It really just depends on the situation. But like he said, we're involved as much as they need us to be,
Okay.
or as
Yeah,
much. Mhm.
I asked that question because some people who struggle with mental illness struggle to maintain employment. So, they might have a breakdown, or, they might have difficulty communicating with their coworkers or
Yeah.
even customers.
Yeah.
So, that support is needed.
And you bring up an amazing point. A big part of supported employment is teaching people how to advocate for themselves, because they come to us with a lot of that, like, hey, I need to go to the doctor and I don't know how to ask for the day off. I feel like I'm going to get fired. And so we coach them through how to have those conversations
Mhm,
with their employer or with their coworkers if something arises. After we place them in employment, there's something called extended supports that we provide as well. So we don't disappear after you get the job.
mhm.
We have follow along supports as long as the client needs it. So
Yeah. And I know that when we kind of mentioned, we kind of glaze through a lot of the different services that we have.
mhm,
And supported employment is one of the programs that we offer that we're very proud of the results, the outcomes we've been able to get. And the feedback that we've gotten from our clients is that they really enjoy and have benefited from our supported employment program. But that's only one aspect of how we support individuals in the county. If you think of what I mean, we all kind of have our own idea and definition of what mental health challenges or disorders are.
Mhm,
But even if we were to just break that down into layman terms, if we were to ask most individuals, who is the person holding them back from living their highest and best lives?
mhm,
Oftentimes we'll point the finger at ourselves,
mhm,
and so many of us realize that um, there are there are ways in which we self-sabotage ourselves from having the best relationship, from going and getting opportunities,
mhm,
to living a healthy and enjoy a joyful life.
mhm,
Um, so where we really kind of start is talking to the client, finding out, okay, so what are some areas that are important to you? Where do you feel that things are breaking down in your life? And so how do we, and how can we be of support to them? And oftentimes clients will begin to open up about, where they are, their hopes and dreams, um, areas that they struggle with, some of the pain points. Um, Oftentimes in life, they will find themselves back in the same situation that they wish that they could just kind of graduate from.
Mhm.
And so, our approach and how we utilize behavioral health and the resources within the county is to be able to wrap around all of these various supports to help individuals get from where they are today to another place. And this is the last thing I'll say on it is, most people, when they think of individuals who are suffering from severe mental health disorders, they think of the guy under the bridge. But in actuality, that's not the case at all. Many of our clients are professional people. They're people who have families. They're middle class and higher, and but they still are suffering in silence because of something that they've experienced that they haven't fully processed.
Mm, that is so true. There are a lot of people suffering from mental illness and they are suffering in silence, and it's sad. But I'm glad this service is available to people who need more support. So that is awesome. So the next question I have for you is how can people get connected with your services?
Great question. Great question. We do have a website,
Yeah.
www.mettle-works.com. So that's a great way. We are listed in several, we're a state facility, so our name and address is someplace. online.
Okay.
And let me look up the phone number.
I think I have it here on the website,
That's one of
240.
Yep.
that's one of them. There's another number though.
Okay.
You can pull up. There's another number that people can call.
Beautiful website, by the way.
Thank you. Clay was the designer of the website, so he secured all of those pictures and helped to put it together. So thank you.
And our office number is 240-487-6934.
Okay.
Yep.
So viewers, if you want to reach out to them, use those numbers so that you can have a discussion with them about their services.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, you talked about some of the things that are listed here, the outpatient services, face-to-face therapy, case management. And I love that you serve all ages.
Yes.
Some mental health organizations just serve, adults or just children, but you serve all, including families. Do you do any type of couple work with couples?
Absolutely. So we can provide talk therapy for those who need, a couple that needs to come in and, talk through some challenges that they're having for their families. But I would say some of the most rich work that we're able to do is within the couple working on the individuals so that they can realize their highest and best self. They can put together a plan for getting the best out of both themselves and out of their relationship and executing that.
Awesome. So if someone went to the website and filled out this contact form, you would call them back?
Yes.
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So now that we are in COVID and a lot of appointments are happening online, if there was someone who didn't have internet, how could they access your services? Could they still come in, or do you still provide face-to-face?
Absolutely. So again, it's meeting everyone where they are. So if they are not able to get to our office, or if they don't have video chat, they certainly can come in. We do still have people available to meet with them in person.
Yeah.
Of course, keeping distance and being masked up. We also are able to do sessions, by phone. Everyone isn't able to access video, and that, so the state has allowed us to do that.
Awesome.
And to add to that answer, we before COVID, our services were community based. So most of our contacts and connections between our staff, which we have great staff, by the way, between our staff and our clients, were done in the community. So they might be done at local library, they might be done at, a McDonald's, it might be done at, like an employment site or the American Job Center. So really we how our programs operate is they are therapy in action. So they're out in the community. Of course, a lot of the work is and can be done, virtually through, Zoom or so on and so forth. But, we look forward to getting back to that place, post COVID where, we can, work with clients, in motion.
We have some staff who's actually never stopped, seeing people in person, a couple of them.
Wow.
They've done it in a safe and distant way, but they're so passionate and they know that you get, a good service, I guess, online, but there's nothing like being, with a person. Some people need you to kind of be there to pull them up out of, where they are. And so we've been blessed to have people within our agency that have continued to push through, even through all of this. But yes, we can do both.
Yeah.
Okay. I see that you have 2 offices, one in DC and one in Maryland. That's awesome. So people who have DC Medicaid, they can utilize the DC office, I'm assuming.
Exactly right.
Yeah. Now, of course, I should say that the services that we offer in Maryland, we have more licenses to provide a larger array of services in Maryland than we do in DC now. DC has a moratorium on expanding or inviting organizations like ours to apply for services. But, we can do talk therapy in DC.
Okay. Yeah. So customers, viewers, if you're not familiar with licenses, usually when you're providing mental health services, you get licensed to provide it within that particular state, or you can have multiple licenses in different states and practice in those states. So that's the reason why, because as a social worker, it's the same thing. I used to do carry cases for social work in DC, but often the foster homes were in Maryland. So I had to be licensed in both DC and Maryland as a social worker, or else I was, not following the laws. But yeah,
Exactly.
it's complicated.
Yeah.
So viewers, you can visit the website at Mettle-Works.com, and you can see all the wonderful services they have to offer, and talk with them by calling them. The numbers are listed, services are listed, so you can find out more information there. So I'm gonna stop sharing the screen. So what types of hands-on experience do you give participants with regard to, okay, let's say they come to you and they want to work on their workforce development skills. They're not maybe quite ready to go be in a particular organization working yet, but can you provide any type of hands-on experience to support them?
So we're proud to say that we do something called Workforce Wednesday, where we bring a small group of people together to work on those soft skills.
Okay.
And so you want to add to that?
Yeah, thank you for bringing that up.
Mhm.
So, and it's interesting. We brought up the point of that our services are person-centered, and what person-centered basically means is meeting the person where they are exactly.
Mhm.
And so, with all of our programs, like the idea ends up being is that it's like, how do you eat an elephant? You start one bite at a time.
Mhm.
So we might receive a person who's interested in getting back employed, but this person never leaves the house because they have severe social anxiety.
Okay.
So the first step of treatment for them is supporting them in leaving the house.
Mhm.
So and how also I should say this, under our community integration program, which those who have active Maryland Medicaid typically get, they're in multiple programs of ours. So, and they all kind of harmonize together. And with community integration, the expectation is that an adult client will meet with our staff at least 6 times a month. And
Okay.
so during those 6 sessions, some of the activities that are being done, and that's kind of where I was going, is that, it might be just saying, okay, let's just go and sit at a McDonald's and just have a hamburger. And that essentially is just the intervention, or the goal for that one day, is just getting them to step out of the house. And so because of how this is structured, we're able to move as slow or as fast as a client basically needs towards, getting to where they want to go. So,
Mhm.
So talk about Workforce Wednesday.
okay. So Workforce Wednesday is, an opportunity for those who have an interest in, working on a career, working on getting a job, of coming in,
Mhm.
getting an assessment of what their interests are, what their strengths are, what are their barriers to employment,
Mhm.
and then beginning to work on those things. So the activities can expand from, working on your resume, to job search or career exploration. It could also expand into things like, setting up or applying for um, transportation allowances, or anything else. It's some we've had some clients who've come in saying that they want a job, but they don't have an ID.
Identification, right,
Mhm.
We've had some who don't have an ID, and they don't have a birth certificate.
right.
So with them, the service might start with helping them get a birth certificate so that they can get an ID, so that they can get employed. So.
And we should also add that we're partners with DOORS, the Division of Rehabilitative Services.
Mhm.
And so they help our clients a lot with what they need. So we partnered with our clients. We'll go to the DOORS counselor and talk about, hey, Susie, wants to try whatever the job might be. And we work with them to set that up so that they can get an experience, a feel of what it is that they think they want to do, or what they've had experience in doing and they haven't done in some time. There is some anxiousness around, well, a lot around employment if you haven't worked in a while, or if you feel like you're not adequate enough in your household in terms of what you bring home and you want to do better. So we work with people to kind of decrease those anxieties and to pull from them the talents that they have. And we work
Mhm.
with our community partners to do that. Another cool thing that happens at Workforce Wednesdays, they get, brushed up on computer skills as well. So we've had some people who, I'm thinking of one in particular where they wanted to work in an office, but they didn't have typing skills, or they hadn't worked with a computer in a long time, and so just practicing that week in and week out and making her more comfortable with using a computer, and she was able to get employed sometime later. So it really just depends on what they're coming in needing. We have an array of um, I guess ability levels and needs. So it depends. But Workforce Wednesday is a cool place where people can come together. And the neat thing that happens is they help each other out. So, we're all there. We have a great employment team, but they're really pulling from each other's experience.
Mhm.
Because
Mhm.
it's a really awesome group experience. So.
Wow, that's awesome. And I like that you tailor the service to them. So wherever they are, you tailor it to what they need to work on, which is extremely important. A lot of, when I worked with clients, they want to move sometimes at a faster pace than they're quite ready for.
Mhm.
So I like that you sit down with them and say, hey, let's work on this and we'll work up to where you want to be. That is
Right.
so awesome.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes, love that.
I want to just kind of add something. When we first opened our program, we started
Mhm.
with 30 individuals. And with the 30 individuals, they all had the same story. They all were looking for work as soon as possible. They wanted to start work the following day if possible. And
Mhm.
what we found with all of them is the enthusiasm was there, the desire was there, but
Mhm.
each one of them had their own barriers or blockages that prevented them from really being able to start the following day.
Mhm.
And so the I guess over the course of that year, I want to say that from that day in which we started with 30, within 30 days, there might have been about 4 who actually got hired. And
Okay.
then, the between month 2 and month like 5, about 15 got hired.
Mhm.
So it's about, or actually maybe 10. So that put us about 15. But around that 8th or ninth month, we had
Mhm.
a almost all of the rest of them ended up getting hired. And it really took, all of them walking in with the same enthusiasm, motivation to get employed.
Mhm.
But it took everyone at their own, took the each person had their own time and process to getting
Mhm.
there, and that's part of what our responsibility is, working with our clients to say, hey, it's okay. Like, I know that you want to work tomorrow. I know you want, your life to be much better tomorrow.
Mhm.
But it's okay. It's a process,
Mhm.
and you're okay with, be okay with the process that it takes. So,
And if they have an immediate need, if there's an urgency around, obviously, right, most of us, all of us need to be employed. We support them with those needs. If housing is an issue or
Okay.
food, is an issue, we figure out how to get them those supports so they truly can focus on working. But if your housing isn't stable, you don't have food to feed your children, you're going to be super distracted from focusing on work. So we support them in getting resources to help those challenges that they're facing as well, so we can really focus on employment.
yeah, and
Mhm.
that really speaks to the partners that we have, that we work with, that are able to help individuals with some of those basic needs. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, we have a lot of people that come into the library that need housing, food, daycare. And so they're trying to get all those needs met at one time.
Mhm.
And they think that, okay, I secure the job, then all those other things will fall in place. But sometimes you have to have childcare to be able to free yourself up to go to work. You have to
Exactly.
be able to feed yourself, clothe yourself, have a place to stay. All
Mhm.
those needs have to be met too. They're all just as important. So it can be hard, as a librarian, when a person comes in and they're trying to meet all those needs at one time, and they're thinking, okay, I get the resume, I apply, I'm going to get the job, and everything is going to magically fall in place, when
Yeah.
in actuality, they need more support than that. They need someone
Right.
to actually connect them with some services
Mhm.
now so that they can get stable to be able to go out and focus. And that is so important. So I'm
Absolutely.
so glad this service is available. I wish I had known about you guys before now, because I would have been referring people to you, because this is an issue we face on a day-to-day basis, especially in the library out in the community I'm in. People need these services. They are in dire need of them, and they just don't know who to turn to.
Right. Yeah. And so, like Clay said, we work with an amazing group of community partners in Prince George's County. We've been incredibly blessed to have great people working with our organization. We actually met your colleague at a food drive that Food for Thought was doing, and we work really closely with that organization. The person who started the organization works within our organization,
Okay.
but having a really great line on getting food for people every week has made such a tremendous difference in people's lives. It really alleviates that pressure of having that basic need.
Mhm.
So we work together as a team.
That's awesome. I know in DC, it was easy because all of the organizations sort of communicated with each other and were able to say, okay, I don't provide this service, but I know this other organization that does. But in PG County, I think, we're getting closer to that point. But there's still a lot of work to be done. So, the library system is trying to also reach out to organizations and do shows like this so that we can get the word out there, so that we can maybe partner with organizations too, so that we can make it easier when people come into either us or another organization, we can point them in the right direction, because none of us really is a one-stop shop. We
Right.
all can work together and partner to
That's right.
provide services.
Absolutely. Yep.
So yes, that is amazing. The next question is, um, would this program benefit someone who is maybe thinking of going to college versus going into the traditional workforce right now?
Good question. And I'll take that because that's my passion. I'm a licensed therapist, and so I started my practice out focusing on that age group
Okay.
and those that really didn't know, like me at that age, I didn't know what I wanted to do.
Mhm.
And so with our work-based learning experience, we can we can support them with not only on the job training, but we can talk to them about college life and, what that's like. And we have obviously a number of professionals who've been to college. And so I like to share my own personal experience with kind of fumbling through my first couple of years of college and not knowing what I wanted to do and how I was able to kind of figure out what my niche is and what my passion is.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Add to that.
Yeah, I think that with so the answer ends up being yes.
Okay.
We have and we do support high school students, transitional age youth who are college on a college track.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I want to say that with our transitional age youth program, I would say that probably half of our kids are on a college track.
Mhm.
Then, I mean, if you think about it, it makes sense. If you are a high school student, there are a lot of pressures to perform. There's a lot of bullying. There's a lot of um, you know um, ideas and thoughts that your peers are saying or getting into that are causing stress and distress on the student.
Mhm.
And so what's your outlet? Where do you go with that? And oftentimes, when I watch Christine work with some of her clients, I could see where um, those students would open up to Christine in ways that they wouldn't open up to their parents.
Mhm.
And so I think that ends up being one of the essential benefits of behavioral health supports for college bound kids is being able to have that professional therapeutic support
Mhm.
that is able to be non-judgmental, that can be supportive, encouraging,
Mhm.
and help guide that student to living their best life.
If you
Mhm.
hear squeaking in the background, that's our little dog playing.
I
Trying
figured it was your
trying to keep her
pet.
Yeah,
cool.
Oh,
she's active up
she wants to be in the video too.
here.
She's tormented that she can't be in our laps right now, so she's
Oh. What kind of dog is it?
she's a Yorkie.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
her name is Marcy, and she
Oh, hi, Marcy.
she
Yeah,
needs a haircut.
Marcy needs therapy herself, so
No,
Could be animal therapy.
yeah,
puppy
yeah,
therapy.
yeah.
Yeah, puppy therapy. The next question is, do you have any particular success story that you can share with someone who's been through your program or who's currently in your program?
Oh,
I
so
think
many.
so.
And so okay.
We do. You want us to tell one of them? I can certainly tell one that I'm thinking of. So our very first person in our supported employment program, I think she was a 55-year-old female who was diagnosed with major depressive disorder. She also was a hoarder and had some other just kind of physical challenges. She had trouble leaving the house, so that's I think that maybe was who you were thinking of earlier. So she had a lot of trouble leaving the house because of social anxiety, and she just hadn't been out in the world in some time. She had some traumatic events that made her withdraw from society.
Mhm.
Um, she was referred to our program, and I was able to get her to come in just to have a little quick meet and greet, nothing heavy or major. And I was able to connect with her, and I was able to get her to come in to do a full assessment. So we referred her to a licensed therapist that I knew would take great care of her and give her an assessment.
Mhm.
From there, slowly but surely, she enrolled in our PRP, our community integration program, and
Mhm.
started working there on some of the social anxieties, also around the hoarding and her trauma, working with the therapist and the community integration specialist around the trauma that she experienced as a child. Um, then slowly, some months later, she got in our supported employment program. She was actually our very first supported employment. I was like, look, you're going to be a test, okay? You're going to be our very first one, so please be patient with us. And she was really she was okay with that. We could see her personality and just her demeanor changing as kind of the weeks and the months went by. We're like, wait, is that? Yeah, you could see who she was some years ago before she kind of withdrew from society, and she ended up being a humongous asset not only to our program, but I'll continue with the story. Um, so she enrolled in supported employment. She started going to what's called the Job Club through the American Job Center. That was held every Monday, and that's another one of our community partners. She started going to the Job Club. She eventually became a leader at the Job Club.
Wow.
So much so that she was helping other people like apply for jobs as she was applying for jobs, people that didn't know how to use the computer or people who didn't know how to use the American Job Center system because she had been going so frequently. She ended up being a group leader. Eventually, they actually ended up hiring her there to work with the 55 and older community. So she hadn't had a job in years. And mind you, when we met her, she wasn't leaving the house. So our therapist, the community integration specialist, and the support and employment specialist really worked hand in hand to support her to getting a full-time job and even a part-time job after that. Like it was an incredible transformation for us to watch and a humongous success story for our agency and for her. And she was a really amazing person.
Yeah.
Oh.
To add to Christine's answer, and I think that's a great example. And we have quite a few examples of individuals who are in similar spaces when they walked in our door, and have been able to see improvement in their lives. And really, what that boils down to is the fact that we are we follow evidence-based practices. And if a client is interested in making that change and they're committed to the process, they're going to be successful. That's just kind of how this works. And we're there to support them in staying with the program. And so with that being said, I would like to say that all of our clients that have been with us for some time are successful. Now, success is measured based off of their own, success is different for everyone. If we have someone who has, who's had a college degree, who's, been an attorney in the past, and then it's gone through a traumatic experience and, fell really hard and was down for a while, success for them might be to get back into employment, maybe even get back into their field. But if you're talking about an 18-year-old young man who, suffers from, depression, never graduated from high school, and, it joins one of our programs, success for that person might be, him being able to understand and value employment and understand and value or learn to make better decisions versus decisions that put him at risk. So saying all that to say, it varies, but we've got quite a few stories. I mean, that's our thing. We're with them when they come in. We've got a box of tissues when we begin the process with them, when they're opening up about the areas that have broken down in their life. And we're the ones that are cheering and high-fiving everyone when we see them succeed. So
that's awesome that your program is very individualized. I cannot stress that enough. You don't just take a one approach to everyone's situation, which is so amazing. And I think that attributes to the success of everybody that comes through your program, is that you really take a look at what they're struggling with, what they need support around, and you try to find support for them. So that is awesome. I truly, truly appreciate that. So how do you follow up with people who participate in your program? Maybe they leave your services, or maybe throughout the program, maybe you check in with them. How do you do that?
Really, really great question. I think it's, one, the way in which our programs work, it's built in that when someone is with us, that there's continuous contact by multiple individuals to check in on them, see how they're doing, and support them in their process. We have, I think one of the highest achievement that we can have is when a client comes in and says, you know what, thanks, but no thanks. Thank you for helping me get to where I am right now, but I don't need the services any longer.
Okay.
And that's the win for us. And so when that does happen, there really isn't a specific process in which we follow up with them, but oftentimes what will happen is there will be some level of communication with them just to kind of,
Absolutely. Like they might I had someone send me a text the other day, or I might check in, with them. I had a family meeting with someone who we serviced some time ago, like, yeah, it was like 5 family members. And they were just all, really in a great place. And it really warmed my heart to see that, okay, they have these services for this time. But look, you're enrolled in college and going online. You're enrolled in college and going online. You're working. Okay, you might still be working on some things, but it kind of just naturally, happens where we're in touch with people who are no longer in our program. But as I said, with support and employment, there are follow along supports. They're not intense. They're just like once or twice a month, just check-ins, just to see how things are going. So we are able to continue to follow along with them as long as they need it. So yeah, we have several ways of keeping in touch and keeping in contact. We are really, it feels like a family though, because I feel like even though there are people that are discharged, they're still, around in some way. We place people with employers who, like, for example, we have 2 people working at a church, where we go to the church regularly. So we see them working, even though they may or may not be in our program anymore. But hey, look, we'll see them, on a regular basis. So yeah, we definitely keep in touch.
Awesome. So are there any other final thoughts you would like to share with our audience about your program or services?
I think one thing I just wanted to add is just to be super clear that it takes, like they say, it takes a village to raise a child. Same thing with being a successful agency and a successful partner. We are made up of a group of amazing professional individuals who have varying experiences in life that make them experts to support people with where they are. I can't stress that enough. We have an incredible team of people. I don't know how we're so blessed to be able to be in touch with so many great people, but we service is really our top priority, in serving however we can, and customizing that service to meet the need of the people. So.
Yeah, and I just kind of also want to add that we see ourselves and we acknowledge ourselves to be a community safety net. And what I mean by that is that we work with those who have fallen as far as you can fall, those who find themselves and feel as if they are almost broken to a point of impossible return. And that's what we do. We work with that population, and we take that, we take our job very seriously. And no one is broken to a point where they can't find their way back into health and wellness and making a contribution to society. So with that being said, I mean, we have work with clients who have had some very severe traumas and challenges, and our process is committed to them and towards their success. And we have those who need the most help. We're able to rally the highest level of services towards them. And so I don't think anyone should ever feel challenged with realizing that these type of services and programs can help them. So.
Awesome. Great. So the final question is for me: what are some resources the library offers people looking to work on workforce development or workforce development skills? Well, you can visit us at our website at pgcmls.info. You can go to our online library and visit our jobs and careers section. In there, you will find some resources that can help you with career assessments, search for jobs, create a resume. You can even get expert feedback from a job coach on our Job Now service, and that is all free. You can also look at resources for veterans to navigate the Department of Veterans Affairs. You can prepare for college and brush up on any job skills. There's also step-by-step guidance to discovering your interests, choosing a career, finding schools and programs, and searching for job openings. There's also practice tests for college entrance exams, employment and citizenship, and tutorials and basic skills for math, reading, and writing. Utilize your library card number to access those resources online, or if you are a student in PG County, you can use your student ID number as your library card number, and then the last 4 digits of that number is your PIN. So we hope you take advantage of those services. Thank you again, Clay and Christine. Great discussion. Hopefully some of our viewers will take advantage of your services and reach out to you regarding mental health if they are struggling with mental health or if they need also assistance with employment. So we appreciate you coming on.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And
Thank you so much.
just last thing, I just want to say that we have such a great team. I mean, from Angela, our executive director, to Donovan, to our whole staff. We've got some awesome people. So I just wanted to share that. I mean, where our success comes from their ability to perform. So
yes, thank you.
Thank you so much for giving us the opportunity to talk about our agency. We so appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, yes. Viewers, you can tune in to us each and every Wednesday at 3 p.m. as we explore a new and exciting career, or we talk to an organization. So we hope you will join us at that time. Thanks. And again, I'm Shannon Crooks, Librarian 3 with the Prince George's County Memorial Library System. Have a great day and continue to stay safe. We'll see you next time.
Thank
All
you.
right. Thank you.